Public Safety Committee meeting for October 6, 2025. Councilor Gwaltney.
Here.
Wolverton.
Here.
Brandt.
Here.
Nelms.
Here.
Harden.
Here.
All here.
So you don't let me drive.
With that, I'll take the plastic cap off the pen. Sorry. That's not your fault. It's like, my fingers don't work. All right, with a quorum, this time I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and approve of the minutes from the Public Safety Committee meeting from September 22nd.
So moved.
Second by Councilor Wolferson, motion by Councilor Nelms. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0. Old business 170925, request for consideration of an ordinance to raise court fines coming from our court administrator, Ms. Laura Roberts.
Okay, so I was asked probably about a month or two ago to take a look at our fines for parking and ordinance violations and things like that. So I did, and I compared it with the surrounding cities, and we were on the very low side. So like I mentioned in the budget meeting, I would be bringing this before you guys to kind of talk to you about it. I'm asking that you guys include some language in an ordinance that just says that our ordinance violations can be fined from $1 up to $500. I know there was some discussion about, people can't afford the $500. I'm not saying that everyone would be fined $500. I'm asking to give us that leeway because right now we're capped at $100. We have repeat offenders that come in over and over who don't care about paying $100 and they keep offending over and over again. So I feel like if they had a higher fine, then maybe that would deter them from committing the same offense over and over. Same way with parking, we have people coming in to pay parking fines, they're $5 and $10, and they will say at the window, I'll pay this all day long, I don't care. If you have a higher fine, my hope is that it's going to deter people from creating those parking issues that we've been having, or at least kind of slow those down. So that's what I'm coming to you for today.
So let me ask this question. I show up downtown, I park longer than 3 hours, and I get a ticket. How much am I paying?
$100, or whatever you guys agree on. Right now, it's $5.
If it's a scheduled fines where they can plead guilty without going to court, we have to specify what the amount is, so
Right.
the public has notice and knowledge of the fine.
Right, so I'm asking $100. The surrounding cities, a lot of them are $50 and a lot of them are $100. So I know someone had asked me to check to see what the surrounding cities were, and so I did. So that's the proposal.
I have a question,
Yes.
so where do most of the parking fines come from? Where's most of the parking violations that you receive? Any idea?
Downtown.
And so they are catching these people? How are they currently catching them for over 3 hours?
I'm not sure about
It's more
that.
random than anything else. It depends on what road. We don't have people hired yet that you guys have dedicated to do the enforcement.
Any police officer can write a ticket for any
Yep.
violation of any ordinance.
Correct.
Yeah, I just was wondering how we knew that they've been there 3 hours. That's my question.
I'm not sure.
At this point, some of them may be the ones that are there like 24 hours plus are getting
Gotcha.
caught for
Gotcha.
3 hours.
When I first came here, there was a big issue downstairs in the garage itself that I had so many complaints, it was unbelievable. So I started enforcing, and we gave out a whole bunch of tickets, but most of the cases it was $5.
So so cars that were parked there long periods of time?
That's
Okay.
pretty cheap, though. It's pretty
Gotcha.
cheap storage of your car.
Okay.
And one of the other ones I wanted to highlight is like blocking the fire hydrant and fire lanes. That's a public safety concern, and to park there and do whatever you want to and only pay $5, there's no punishment for that when that's a public safety issue. Kind of the same thing for handicap parking. If we've got citizens and visitors coming to our city that have the handicap placards, we want them to be able to park at the handicap spot, not taken up by someone that should not be there. So my hope is, once this is posted out, that these fines are higher, that it will deter people from doing it. The higher fines are not going to affect anybody that doesn't break the rules. So.
Yeah, Councilor Andrews.
I'm confused. I have an ordinance here we adopted in 2016. It shows these schedules being completely different from what you're.
I pulled that information off of Muni Code, so I'm not sure.
I'm not sure that's correct.
I think we've been writing fire lane tickets for $100 for a little while.
Here's a 2016 memo from me to the council of modification of fine.
Guess what, didn't get updated.
Parking, $20 for parking.
It's not on any of the parking
wasn't
tickets or,
$5.
yeah.
Most
Well,
likely, our
you
previous
said
city clerk didn't
we adopted
get
this
Muni
ordinance.
Code updated.
I was about to
have
say, it
guess.
sounds like someone did not update mini code.
Busy doing other things.
But I do want to mention that I have had 2 meetings now with our, one of our municipal judges, and he brought the same issue to me. He said Laura's doing an amazing job. He brought the same issue up to me. He mentioned that if there was someone who was indigent, that they do have a hardship affidavit, and he's very flexible with them, and they can serve community service. He said exactly the exact same thing Laura said, which is they just need the flexibility, and they do have these repeat offenders that these fines don't mean anything to, and so they need to be able to put some teeth in it.
Counselor Nels, did you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, if we're going from, what, $5?
Well,
22.
according to our attorney, it might be $20.
Parking was 30.
Well, I just printed out the mini code.
But they've been charging fines.
19.3, is that what we're talking about? Magistrate fine schedule?
No, that's something separate. No, that's according to, I have to go by the state on that. That one can't be changed.
Oh, yeah, it can be.
Well, I mean, you guys would have to do an ordinance, that's part of traffic tickets. That's not parking or ordinance violations. That's dealing with just traffic tickets. And those fines are based off what is posted by AOC. But you are correct, you guys can go up on those if you want, because Birmingham did.
You can adopt anything you want to in certain areas.
But you're just talking about our.
I'm talking about
Our
the two
local-
main issues
yes,
of the parking, try to
and-
deter some parking issues
And-
and repeat offenders on the ordinance violations.
Yeah.
Maybe this ordinance in 2016 wasn't adopted, I don't know.
Well, I think for parking, we should do 50, but the other one should be that high. Because, you know, if you park in a handicap, that's gonna be,
Handicap's already higher though, correct?
$100.
Yeah, it's
It's
not.
we're going
it's not
yeah, it's not
punitive.
At all, yeah.
Yeah, you need to be penalized if you're
punitive
parking.
enough.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just a given. Don't get dirt
like a
bike.
fire hydrant.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And all the fine, if you're not aware, any fine money that we do take off of any traffic tickets, parking fines, misdemeanor cases, all the fine money gets remitted back into general fund. So that's where that fine money goes.
And that would apply to yellow curb parking as well? Or is that
Whatever-
different?
Whatever parking ordinances that we have.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yellow curb's different, yeah.
Counselor Golding, I'm not on the committee, but I do think that Counselor Nelm's statement is appropriate based on just the $50 being 10 times what we're implementing now is $5 as substantial for an increased parking fine.
Oh, okay, noted. Counselor Jones, for you? No?
I guess,
Counselor Wolf.
I was gonna say, my only real concern, I think, is, it still sounds a little bit subjective to me in terms of how we're assessing, the amounts.
So the ordinance violations, the $1 to 500 would be, so both of our judges that we have, they're very on the same page together. They're kind of in sync with one another. So they have adopted policies that if you come before them one time, it's probably going to be $100 fine. But when you come back a second and third time or fourth time for letting your dog out and running loose and biting people, then they want to be able to have that flexibility to give them a $500 fine instead of just continuing to give them a $100 fine.
So right now, they just get a notice saying they've been fined. It doesn't
They get
have
a
an
ci-
amount assigned to it.
They get a citation and then they come to court and pay $100 and then that's it.
Well, and it's the same concept we had with, because if it's violating any city ordinance, I mean, people, I forget the individual that cut down every tree in his yard.
So that was one of the
Yeah,
examples that I've
it's
used. He kept doing,
Yep.
there was one that kept doing things over and over.
Yep.
And he was fine paying $100. He didn't care. He paid $100 all day long, didn't care.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
So-
On the parking topic, I personally don't have a problem with the $100, but, you know, will the committee and the council, yeah, I behave the rules. I behave within the guidelines of the rules, so.
I mean, my thing is, you won't, I'm not on the
You
committee.
get it once, you'll.
You won't get a fine if you don't do something you're not supposed to do. I mean, that's an easy thing. Don't do what you're not, don't do something that you're not supposed to do, and you won't get a fine to
The
begin
intent
with.
when we change rules is to give warnings first.
Right.
And
Sure.
then start implementing the ticketing. So all of the stuff like the 2-hour and everything, we've not fully engaged with that. We don't have the people on board to do it. So when we first start, we're gonna start giving warnings, and then we're gonna start issuing the actual ticket.
That's a good idea.
So on that, the ordinance violations that do come to the court, it takes forever to get to me because they warn them over and over. They go out and try to get them to fix the problems. And so by the time I get it, it's been like 3 months of complaints before it actually comes to the court. So they've been warned over and over about things.
So most likely a first offense is just a warning for anybody that
Counselor Jones?
accidentally.
President
I
Jones.
remember passing that ordinance, so 2017, where we raised it with parking. That's what I remember. But
That's, what I'm talking about is the schedule of fines if they wanna go plead guilty
Yeah.
without going to court.
Right, that's the traffic
I'm
ticket.
confused what ordinance you're talking about that says we can't charge them up to $500 for any violation anymore.
So there were several, I didn't bring that, actually I did. So like the sign ordinance, or the animal control ordinance, specifically that one, because that's been a hot topic in my office. It says they can only be fined $100 for the violation of the animal ordinance. So that was one of them that was listed. Another one that was listed was the burn ordinance. It said $100 fine. Again, that was going off of what was.
The burn ordinance, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if there is a schedule, based on their offenses and how many, I would say $50 for parking, and then if they're a repeat offender for something like that, then that's the judge's, you know.
But we gotta be able to give the judge the ability to
Right,
charge
right.
that.
And
So
I'll
if it only says a $50 fine, then no matter how many times they offend, it's only a $50 fine.
He can't go up.
So we can,
Up to.
the verbiage can remain up to, right?
That's something
Mike?
that our attorney
Yeah,
would need to
it
discuss.
can, but I'm just confused about what ordinances. You need to give me a list of the ordinances, because they all have to be changed. They can't just say, for any
These are-
ordinance violation.
These are the ones that were sent to me.
I think a graduated fine structure would be
Somebody in City
more
Hall.
effective, in my opinion.
Right.
50 for the first,
Right,
and then
and that's what I was
subsequent,
trying to say.
second, 75,
Yeah.
third,
Isn't-
100.
Business license ordinance to control by state code.
Not to be contrary, but isn't that why we have judges that, you know, are impartial? I mean,
I'm just, the
we're
knowledge point
counselors that,
is,
you know,
we haven't really been enforcing a lot, and I think we're gonna have a lot of people who are gonna be shot with $100. That's all I'm saying.
Once the city attorney looks over that list and he checks things
Well,
out, it may not need, some of them may not need to change.
Let me say this to you. Blocking a fire lane,
Joe.
$250. If that's on the schedule of fines, that's what it's gotta be on the schedule of fines. Right now, it's,
But that's on a traffic ticket, that's on, so
the
what,
schedule of fines lets them go plead guilty without having to go to court.
right, but the law clearly says on the schedule of fines, it's for traffic, it's UTCs only. So if it's written on a parking citation, you guys' parking ordinance, that controls it.
Well, wouldn't blocking a fire lane be a traffic violation?
Not if it's,
Well,
if it's
that
not a
would-
moving violation.
Let's just say,
So,
we write those, but the fire inspectors write them, but they're
Well-
not able to write them under vehicle code.
correct,
They
so
have
it
to
would
write
fall
them
under the
city
ordinance. Yes, sir.
Because we're not certified, or what's the right term? Sworn officers.
Yeah.
I got some concerns, but I
So,
really wanna do.
I have a suggestion.
I don't agree totally with what's been said. Because we have a schedule of fines that
If you can
includes
read that, which is
parking and fire
So
lane.
let's set the context of what we want to do with the fines,
Sure.
so that we can move that agenda item along, and then between today and next Monday, we can iron out the specifics of it, if it's 10 ordinances that need to be touched, or if it's one. Or if we just need to have a blanket ordinance that covers all of this. So currently, we are sitting at, so it sounds like, let's discuss as a council, do we want it to be at 50, 75, or 100 for parking fines? I think we can all kind of agree that $500 up to, not to exceed $500 is fine. Let the judges be, you know, judges and arbiters of the people that are standing in front of them, because we are not ever going to see those folks. Neither will the new council, because they're probably not going to go hang out in the court after serving here. So I'd say let them, you know, decide what the schedule is. No offense, President Walter Jones.
So you're recommending on the violation of a city ordinance, $1 to $500, not the judge?
I think it was $1 to $500 is what was
Let
requested,
them have
correct?
the discretion to do their
Yeah.
job.
Okay, I'll make a motion for that.
Well,
do we have to do that right now? or-
We're gonna basically use this as our template.
Okay, and let
We'll
him.
provide that to Mr. Kendrick, and he
Okay.
and Mr. Roberts can
Okay.
work out the ordinances that
And
need to be touched.
I'm probably agreeing that even $50 is a lot to screw up in the parking and then they have.
You break the rules, don't you?
Right. I promise you, if I parked in the handicap, my wife would, I'd rather pay the fine, I'll just tell you.
Well, we're only talking parking fines.
Peter Wright to ask him?
Yeah, he parked right.
Has anyone called Peter Wright to
Yeah.
ask him about that?
We blocked out the plaza, that's fixed.
Yeah.
Um, So is your motion to amend the parking fine to be 50 versus 100?
Yes.
Okay, and the rest of the schedule will stay as it is. Blocking a fire hydrant 250, blocking, or parking in a handicap spot with a tag is 500. Okay.
Mr. Kendrick, do the fire hydrant and the handicap, are those in line with the others that you were referencing?
2016, the schedule of fines includes improper parking, parking in prohibited zones, parking in fire lane, parking in handicap areas.
Okay, the difference in that is those are written on UTCs, which is a traffic citation. Those are written by police officers.
Sure.
And then you've got fire department who can issue citations for blocking fire lanes and things like that. They can't write those on a UTC. The schedule of fines is sent out by AOC. That only is attached to those violations that are written on a UTC form, which is a traffic ticket.
So are you writing tickets?
Yes, sir, my inspector, so this started with Brookwood Hospital a while back in that center lane. We just could not get the parking under control, and we went to John Morgan and asked for that ability. In order to do that, it has to be, my understanding, I am not a police officer, is that we had to have the curb painted red, signs had to be posted, and we could only write them on the city ordinance ticket.
Which is a UNTCC.
Yes.
And only for the fire hydrant blocking
Only
fire lane?
for, well,
Or
anything
fire
that was
lane.
under
Fire
the
lane.
city ordinance code, so it was a handicap, fire lane, and then blocking the roadway, not leaving within 20 feet, which we got told we couldn't do that.
Is
when
that
we
the same
built
thing with
the
Lowe's, where they're in the right of way, where the fire lane is? That same type of ticket on the right?
I think so.
Anywhere where there's a
Separate.
fire lane. Anywhere where there's a fire lane.
Yeah, but now the fire lane has to be red based on our city
Right.
ordinance, because we had to have Brookwood repaint all of their curves and add signs. I can't do it on yellow curves, I mean, it's specifically what.
It's
what
gonna have
I was-
an ordinance designating that fire.
We did. And I would like to keep that ability if possible.
We're not changing that.
Before, my inspectors wrote a lot of fire lane tickets at Brookwood and Brookwood Mall before we got that under control. It became a reputation that if you park there, you're gonna pay $100.
I'm sorry, I'm disappointing you.
Well, now you're gonna pay $250, so there's that.
John
All right,
Harden,
so
you parked there.
we have a motion on the floor from Councilor Harden. The only adjustment is to take.
All right, so, Mike, we have to set a limit, I mean, the fines to 100 is not proper legal jargon?
Ordinance is a misdemeanor, it could be punished up to $500 and 6 months in jail.
If we're trying to punish repeat offenders, why not make it 100? If we're, let the judges do their job, and if it's a
Well,
first.
because they're gonna give them a
Oh, for the
ticket.
minimum?
If I don't go in front of the judge, I just pay the $100.
Yeah, so this is, I think what y'all are asking. If you get a ticket and you're just gonna pay it, that's what that number is. If you are going to fight the ticket, or you say that you can't pay the ticket and you have a hardship, then you can go before the judge, and then the judge has the discretion to do
Correct.
whatever he thinks is appropriate.
They don't choose to voluntarily plead guilty.
Right, but if you're just gonna pay the ticket, that's what that number
All right,
means.
all right, I'm okay with 50 then, but I keep the 500 on handicap. Anybody
Oh,
well-abiding
yeah.
parking in
No question.
handicap, as few as we have in Homewood, needs to be flogged.
So we currently have a motion from Councilor Harden.
we add
Second.
We should not be having discussion without a second, but second from Councilor Nelms. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, 5-0 on 1709-25. New business 2609-25, request to authorize no parking anytime restriction around the circle at Wingate Circle, coming from Kel Smith and Randy Hamblin.
Thanks. Brian, can you go to a street view? Wingate? That's the circle. People park around it and block access. And so the
Parking
proposal.
around the internal.
Around the inside, right? And then people also park on the outside, like the Red Explorer, and it gets splintered up where a fire truck can't get around. So we just want to prevent people from parking on the inside around, so we want to stripe
Yeah, I was gonna
the
ask.
internal circle yellow.
Okay.
How much will that fine be?
$500.
So,
$50?
I'm just,
is this coming from fire? Is this a fire request?
No, this is coming from someone who lives on the Wingate Circle that can't get to their driveway often. So,
Could you send me a detail?
We have
yeah, I need to see that.
we're gonna have a lot more circles that you'll probably need to go look at too. Well, there's one just down from this one that's probably a challenge too.
Your driveway's on that side of it?
Yeah. Okay. It's always a mess. Always a mess.
So we need to make a motion?
Yeah, if that's what you feel so inclined.
I love it. Yellow's great. I
Yeah,
love
they're gonna be
yellow.
mad
I
about
make a
yellow,
motion
I'll
to
tell you right
approve the
now.
no parking anytime on the circle at Wingate Circle, the
Motion.
inner circle.
Motion from Council Brandt,
second.
second from Council Wolverton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Yes,
The
yes.
ayes have it.
Does that include
5-0,
signing?
and with that, public safety is adjourned.